What's up, dudes? This is the first video in the Noob to Pro series where I'm going to be taking you through every small and big aspect of building to transform you into a pro by the end. And if you've never built before, this is perfect for you because I'm not leaving anything out. I'm going to teach literally everything I have learned in the past year building on Roblox. If you guys have any questions on building, please leave a comment and I will do my best to respond, because I know sometimes when you're in a YouTube comment section, they just don't respond, and that's annoying. Now let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. So right as you start up Roblox Studio for the first time, you're probably going to have to log in, and then you'll be greeted with a screen like this. Here you can see all the templates Roblox has created. There's a lot of pre-made templates that Roblox actually gives you to kind of get the hang of developing, but we're just going to start on an empty base plate because we want to learn everything from scratch and not use free models. Now right as you open your base plate up, it kind of looks like a lot. Your screen might look a little different from me. Things might be in different orders. Don't let this stress you out, because once you learn everything, it'll seem a lot simpler than it actually looks. The main buttons we're going to need for this video are these four right here and this one right here. But first, what we need to do is we need to go to the View tab over here and make sure we have the Explorer, the Properties, and the Team Create button here actually enabled so that it shows up on your screen, because this is going to allow you to see every single part that's in your entire game and allow you to change individual properties on each part. Now the movement might take a little bit of time to get used to because it's kind of weird. WASD moves your player around, and all you do to move your camera is hold right click and then look around. And now that you have movement down, let's start by putting in our first part. Up here by the insert bar, you'll see part, place a part into the workspace. We're going to click this little down arrow here and you'll see a list of parts that comes with Roblox's platform. So you can click any one and spawn one in. I'm going to spawn in the block, and you'll see right here that we have our first part, and you can go ahead and fly over to it, or you can click F on your keyboard, which will teleport you directly to the part. Now this is where those tabs I was talking about earlier actually comes into play, because you'll see on the bottom right here, it shows every single property of this part. But the most important for now is under the Appearance tab. Now let's say we wanted to make this part green. All we would do is click this and we would change the color to a nice green, whatever we think looks good. Or you could click the brick color at the top and then use Roblox's pre-made color pack. But now that you have your first part in the workspace, you can actually just delete it, because we're going to be working on this base plate here and we're going to be changing some of the properties on that. Now I'm assuming you're a gamer if you're watching a video on how to make games, so you'll know that pretty much every game needs grass on the floor, so that's what we're going to do first. But before we do that, this is why you needed the Team Create slide open that I mentioned earlier in the video, because we actually need to save our file to Roblox. Essentially what this does is it allows you to work with other developers, and it will auto-save files, so if your computer crashes or you get hit with a tornado, all of your Roblox files are saved, which is the most important part, obviously. But anyways, let's go ahead and save this to Roblox, and it will start auto-saving for me, and boom, you'll see my little face up there. Oh my gosh, that is a cutie. Okay, so now we can actually start editing the properties of the base plate. What we need to do is click the arrow right next to the workspace, and it will drop down every single thing inside of your game. And then we can click the base plate and change the color to green. Now, if you ask me, this shade is actually ugly, so we're going to click the drop down on the base plate here and go ahead and delete that texture that comes with the base plate. And now we just have a plain green world, but we need a little bit of color. So we're going to go to the material here and change it into the grass, which is going to put a nice Roblox texture on it. And if we go ahead and spawn into the game here, you will see that you have already created the basics of a game. You have the floor, you can run around, and Roblox makes this super easy to do. But we want to build some cooler things, so I'm going to move on to the next part of this tutorial, which is going to be building a simple house using literally what we've learned in the past minute of this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to spawn in a part here, and then we're going to go over to this model tab on the top left here. We're going to make sure our move is enabled, the checkbox, and is set to one stud. What this tool is going to do is it is going to allow you to move your part exactly one stud so you can make perfectly symmetrical houses and buildings. And you can also do this for the rotate. Personally, I leave mine on 15 to rotate objects, but you can put yours at anything you think works for you. But now that we have that all said and done, we're going to build a little simple house. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my part here, going to click the scale tool at the top left here and extend my part 30. And boom, you have your part. Then I'm just going to pull up on this green circle here and extend this 15. And we have our first wall. Going back to this properties tab that I mentioned before, I'm going to change the color to a nice red. And then I'm going to change the material to brick. So now we have a brick wall. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click Control D on my keyboard, or if you're on a Mac, Command D to duplicate this part. Then I'm just going to drag it all the way over, pull it one, just so it doesn't glitch on the edge here. Let me give you an example. If I left both of them like that, it would give a little glitch effect, and we do not want that because it just makes your game look tacky. And then I'm going to push this wall out to 30 as well. You'll see that this wall is actually thinner than this one, but the nice part about moving everything on one stud is this is literally just one more stud than this. So we can just go ahead and extrude this out one more, and we have a perfectly even wall. And I'm just going to do that a couple more times to form a full house. And then on the last extrude, I'm going to leave a little bit of room for a door. So I'm actually going to extend it 10 out on each side here, just so it leaves a little bit of room for a door in the middle. Just by duplicating this part, pulling it up, you can actually move it into the frame of the building. You now have a perfect doorway. But there is one big issue with this build. Now, if you go ahead and click play here, you will see our building just fell apart. Our door is now pretty much a window. So in order to stop that, what we have to do is we have to select all of these parts and we have to anchor them right here to the left side of the play button. You're going to see anchor, which pretty much just sets the parts in their individual places and will not let gravity affect any of the parts, meaning your building will stay just as it is with no gravity affecting it. And it looks like we created a perfect doorway, so we can have a door right here and a door right here. And now that we have our full house made, we're going to move on to something a lot cooler, because I know this is boring, but we have to get through the basics in order to be able to build those crazy builds later on. So we're actually just going to select all of this and click delete on our keyboard. And we're going to work on something a lot cooler, which is making a floating island. So all I'm going to do is use the part button here like before, and I'm going to extend it out 50 by 50. And then I'm going to make the top 5. Boom. Just like that. Then I'm going to change it to a darker color. All I'm going to do is completely duplicate this, take the move tool and pull it up so it's sitting right on top of it. Then I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard and pull up on this green area right here. What this is going to do is it's going to extrude it on every side perfectly even. And then all I'm going to do is pull it up just a couple more notches every single time. I'm going to do that a couple more times. And boom, just for some variety, I'm going to actually take this one down one. I'm going to actually pull this one up one more and this one up another one. Pull this one in just a couple more. And boom, now we have the base of our island. And you can go ahead and delete that spawn point because we don't really need it. Now we can go ahead and select all of our parts by dragging and pull it up. And as you can see, we have the base rock of the floating island, but usually the bottoms are a little pointier. So I'm going to go ahead and actually create a pointier bottom here, pull up on this so it pushes up on that and does not extrude up. And I'm going to come down 8 studs there, and boom. Now I'm going to take my rotate tool on each one of those stones. Now I'm just going to rotate it a random distance until I think it looks good. Now we have an issue here because we actually have the top here going outside of the top frame. So I'm just going to scale this up to stop that and make this top part a lot bigger. And just like I said before, we do not want this to happen, just a little bit more. And if you do have to change this number, that's okay too. I'm going to change mine to 5 just so I can move it a smaller amount. Perfect, not hanging out on any edges at all. There we go. Now we just need to change the top of this to a nice green, and we have our first floating island. And all we did was use just parts for it. I mean, it doesn't look too bad just for using Roblox Studios parts. Okay, and I went ahead and put another little brick house on top of the island because I do want to show you one more thing. This brick hut currently has no entry point for the player, which is a big issue because how are they going to get inside the house? So what we need to do is we need to duplicate this part. We're going to make this part into the shape of the actual door, make it even on each side. So our door would look just like that. Then we're going to pull out from each side just like that. So we have our door sticking out. Now it may look a little bit funky on both sides, but this is essentially going to be the outline of our door. Now that we have the actual model of where the door is going to be, we're just going to click the part and go to the model tab up here and click negate on that part. What it's going to do is create a negative part. So when it's added onto another part, it will subtract that part from the other part. Let me give you an example. So we're just going to select our negative part here. Then we want to click Control and select the part that we're going to negate from. So I've selected both parts, the negative part here, and as you can see, the wall. Then I'm going to click the Union button here, which actually just subtracted that square from this. Now, after we anchor, don't forget to anchor, we can see that you can now walk through the door, just like a normal door. Now, there are a couple pros and cons to this. First pro is that this is now one part. You don't have 3 walls like I showed earlier in the video. This is only one part. The bad part is creating too many unions in a game can cause a lot of lag. So we want to avoid using as many unions as we can so that we can optimize our game for mobile players later down the line. And that's pretty much it for the first episode of the Noob to Pro series. Congratulations on making it through the first episode. I know we had to take it kind of slow in this video. As we move on and you get better, things are going to move a lot quicker and you're going to be building big maps in no time. And if you like the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It lets me know that I'm doing things okay. And if there were any problems with the video, if I was going too slow or too fast, let me know in the comments. Feedback is always appreciated so I can make these tutorials a lot better for you guys. Anyways, thank you dudes for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial.